All right, so we can finally get started, guys. I am excited to be here. For those of you who don't know, I know we've been sort of conversing here for a while, but those of you who may not know yet, my name is Georgiana. I am your coach, your mentor, your guide. Now. I'm hosting our live stream. This is the ANDS team live training. A lot of you guys ask me, what the heck does ANDS stand for? ANDS stands for Action, New Beginnings, Tenacity, and Success. It's sort of, thank you, JA, sort of the motto for my Avon team. And a few years ago, I decided to open up our team trainings to all representatives. So we changed the format a little bit so that we can do this with everyone. It is distracting to be watching myself on two screens, but we opened the format so that more representatives could be involved, because I know that many of you, like me, didn't have a coach or a mentor when you first got started. And even if you did, it's always great. Like me, now I learn a lot from other representatives. So it's always great to connect with other reps and learn. So building on that theme, this month, actually, as of last week, Avon announced that it was doing a new incentive. Avon is giving representatives, regardless of how long you've been with the company, regardless of whether or not you are a top seller or in the top 20%. I am always super frustrated because this is what people told me when I first got started, and still actually one of the things people try to tell me. But they'll say, oh, you'll never succeed in that because you have to be in the top 2% before you can ever earn anything or go anywhere or get anything from the company or see any profit. And I am so thankful and appreciative to Avon, especially New Avon, and their team for just completely debunking that myth. So anybody who knows anything knows that that is no longer the case. And one of the things that Avon is giving away, as I mentioned, is this trip to Los Cabos, Mexico. So I decided that I wanted to work with you guys to turn our Tuesday night team training into tracking and idea sharing and encouraging of one another. So I want to designate a portion of our team training nights to our tracking for the Los Cabos incentive. So what I want to do tonight is I want to share with you guys what I'm doing to track. So I basically said I'm pulling down, barriers between my team and you guys who I consider my extended team, whether you're like physically within my Avon team or not. And I wanted to share something that I've been working on with my representative. So for those of you who don't know, I was actually, thank God, 100% due to him. Um, I was able to earn 2 trips with Avon, a trip to Bermuda and a trip to Bahamas. In that order? No, not in that order. So in 2017, I was able to go to Bahamas, and then last year, sorry, no, what are we in now? 2018? Yeah, 2017, I was able to go to the Bahamas, and this year I was able to earn a trip to Bermuda. My first trip, I earned a trip for 2, and my second trip, I earned a trip for 1. But I wanted to share with you some of the things that I do to help myself track. But a little disclaimer, I keep saying this, just you could do every single thing right and still miss the trip. And I think, or still miss these top incentives. And I don't want you guys to look at that and say, okay, well, I'm not even going to try because there's a chance that I might not make it. Because you can do, if you do everything that is within your power, you can also make it. So again, don't look at the naysayers and the people who are like, oh, top 2% this and 1% that. It's always worth it to try. And I always encourage my team, whenever Avon has an incentive, whatever it is, to go for the top level. Don't disqualify yourself in the beginning by saying, oh, okay, well, Avon is giving away these 5 things. Number 5 is at the top. Well, I'm only going to go for 1 because I think I could achieve that. You'll surprise yourself. You might actually earn the 5th thing because, due to trying, as opposed to just completely telling yourself that you're not going to make it and then make it. And I share this with you because I don't consider myself, one of those people who can sell ice to Eskimos. I don't consider myself, some superstar seller. I am an average seller. When I first got started in this business, I didn't know anybody. I built my customer base from scratch, just slowly, slow and steady, wins the race, sticking with it, not giving up, being consistent. That's how I built my business. And that's how I'm continuing to build my business. And I just want to sort of say all that for those of you who are like, well, I've never earned a trip before. What makes you think I could earn it now? One of the things that I really appreciated from both trips, one of my favorite parts, yes, it was great to explore a new country, to go and not have to pay for anything, to spend time with my Avon family. But one of the top things that I enjoyed with the trip was meeting people who, like me, had never earned a trip before, who maybe it was their first time earning a trip. Bahamas, yes, Bahamas, not Bermuda. Bahamas was my first trip with Avon, like earning an incentive through Avon. And I met a lot of representatives who, for them, it was also their first trip. And I met a lot of representatives who had just joined, like within that year, within a couple of months, within a couple of campaigns. But because they were committed to earning it, they really made themselves earn it. And I found even for myself, even though, like I said, I wasn't a huge seller, I found for the last intensive, I've even surprised myself by increasing my sales because, you know, when you have your mind set on a goal, you do what you need to do to get there, and you can surprise even yourself. So what I want to do tonight is share a tracking form that I use to help set myself up for success when I'm tracking for these incentives. So I'm going to switch over to my webpage so that you guys can find this as well. So let's see. All right, so right now I'm on my blog page. This is bossladies.com. This is a video from last week's training seminar, our training seminar, Ants Team Live training. But you'll see down here at the bottom, I actually posted a link to a Google Sheet that I use to plan and track for my incentives. So this is a sheet that you can visit this page. I put it on my blog so that it could be public, so that you can go there, you can download it, you can share it. I didn't want to share it. I found that if I shared it to like my Facebook group, you can only see it if you were my friend or if you're following my page and all this stuff. So I just put it on my blog. It's open to the public so that you can find it. But when you click on this link right here, I even left out the full link. I didn't abbreviate it because if you need to copy it, you can just copy the link and save it. But it'll bring you to a Google Sheet like this. Now, disclaimer. I know some of you are going to look at this and none of you can see my face, right? Okay, yes. Thank you guys for the heads up. I'm just going to slide myself on over to here. So a little bit of a disclaimer with this. I know some of you will look at this sheet and get a little bit intimidated because it's like a lot of numbers. But for those of you who know me, know that I do not do sorry, multiple chats. Okay, yes, I can make the YouTube channel full screen. Hopefully that will help. Okay. Thanks for the feedback, guys. So I don't do math. I am not the kind of person who likes to calculate and recalculate. That is just not me. So one of the reasons why I create spreadsheets like this are because I am mobile. I'm not always home. I found that when I do the boards at home and the tracking lists at home, when I'm running my business on the street, that sounds weird, like I'm running my business on the street. But when I'm out in the field, when I'm working my business in the 15 or 20 minutes I have between meetings or on the train, I don't have access to a big board in my house. So this is a sheet, it's on Google Sheets. I can access it from any device as long as I have an internet connection. And even then I can download a like an offline version that I can work on and then connect to when I do have connection. The second reason, like I said, I don't like math, so I like to be able to plug in numbers and have it calculate for me how much I need to get to my goal, how much is remaining. And then thirdly, I am a complete and total nerd. So I need, whenever Avon comes out with an incentive, I am that person who dives in, looks at the FAQs. I want to know what the nitty gritty is because I don't want to make any mistakes. And I found in my experience that a lot of times when the incentives are missed, sometimes it's over something really small, it might be a misunderstanding, and I don't want to have that happen. So I really try for myself and my teammates to see if I get a deeper understanding. I watch other people's videos. I collaborate with other representatives if I can, because sometimes they'll catch things that I don't catch. So I created this spreadsheet to kind of do all of the work for me. So tonight I'm going to show you how it works and how you can use it to help track for your Los Cabos trip as well. For me, I find that tracking is super important. Yes, Avon has a tracker. Yes, Avon will track your numbers for you, and they will do a lot of the work as well. And their system is, it's come leaps and bounds from where it was when I first started. But I'm coming from a generation where it wasn't updating as fast as it does now. So I learned from the jump to do my own tracking, and I still encourage my friends and my teammates to do their own tracking as well. There will be discrepancies, but it's always nice to have your own list so that you can check your list against Avon. Again, that's another thing that I've seen. Sometimes people will miss an incentive because they thought they had when Avon is saying that they didn't, but because they didn't have their own list to say, okay, where is the person that's causing the discrepancy, or what was the issue that happened? Without your own list, it's hard to hone in on the problem and get a correction, because oftentimes Avon will, not oftentimes, if Avon made a mistake, they will correct it, but you need to know where the mistake was in time to get that correction. So I always keep my own list. I also like to track ahead of time. So I kind of, for me, this sheet is partial planner, and my coach said also tracker. So before the incentive comes around, I like to start off by laying out a sheet with all the details. So this incentive has actually 5 levels, but like I said, I'm tracking for the highest. The first is a trip for 1, the second is a trip for 2. Next, I have the point value for each of those levels. So the trip for 1 is 5,000 points. The trip for 2 is 7,000 points. And my goal, these are, of course, my goal is to reach this 5,000 or 7,000 points. So this field right here, it's a red field because it will automatically update and show you how much you need to reach this goal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just blow away all of these numbers, and we're going to start from 0. So starting from 0, you'll see I haven't planned out anything, so I still need 5,000 points to earn the trip for 1 and 7,000 points to earn the trip for 2. This incentive has a sales component, and it has a recruiting component, and it also has a pre-official start component. What were they calling it? Vamos. It's like there's 2 portions, so there's a lot going on, and I didn't want to constantly have to be thinking about, oh wait, are we doing the sales right now, or are we doing the recruiting right now? What's in effect, what's not in effect? So I built out the middle portion of this sales sheet to kind of cover everything. So here are the different levels of points that you earn for each action. These are your action steps. So if you have sales of $300 to $499, you get 100 points. 500, 200 points. If you have a recruit from Alma, 150 points. Personal recruit, 300 points. For every additional order for your recruits, 100. You guys know. I'm not going to go through all of them, but these two, the early, I just call it early promotions, early Bronze Ambassador promotions and early Generation 1 promotions. Those are the areas where you can, in this first portion between campaign 23 and campaign 26, earn bonus points. And the points are different from the other points that you would earn during the main incentive period. So I just kind of blocked out and highlighted that separately. You can also earn personal recruits in this section, but you can also earn points with personal recruits, but for none of the other usual areas until the actual incentive time frame kicks in. So that's why these are different colors. Also, you won't be able to earn the 1,000, sorry, the early portion basically ends when the campaign officially starts for campaign 1 and the incentive starts with it. So that's why this is highlighted here, but then it stops. And then the promotions, the regular promotion bonus for the incentive doesn't start until campaign 1. So that's why these colors are this way. Also, it wants to track your sales. Up here, these campaigns are grayed out because your sales Sales are not a component of this first incentive, so those will not factor into the total numbers. But all you have to do, again, this is me not liking math, all you have to do is plug in what your sales were. So if I sell $300 in campaign 1, you see it automatically tallies up here. I was in this sales bracket here. If I have sales of $512 in campaign 2, you see it automatically jumps in here. So depending on what you type in, it will fill out for you what level you earn points in. All you have to do is plug in your numbers in this section here. Questions, comments so far? Hey, Jessica, long time no see. So I can hop on over to Facebook, to YouTube, and check out your questions. So feel free to ask questions if I'm going too fast. I just want to cover this madness. Also, you can find details and instructions for what all the colors mean on my blog here. So it tells you step by step what to do. So you start off by step number 1 is to fill out your goals for each category. So I could say, let's say my goal is to, I should really have the incentive form open. Let's see if I could do that. So let's just grab that incentive form. So if you guys log into youravon.com, you can actually, and I do recommend finding and saving or printing out or keeping somewhere where you can see it, the incentive forms. I live in Dropbox, so all of my forms are here because I said I'm not home to have a file folder or Filofax or some huge form of saving all my printed out forms. So I don't really print. Also bad for the environment, but I tend to just save all my files in Dropbox so I could quickly pull them up when I'm doing coachings and trainings with my team. So I just like to have the guide open a little bit so that you can see, so that I can see. So first things first, I like to just kind of plan out for myself. Okay, so I've got 8 campaigns where I can hit where my sales will count towards the incentive. So I can say, okay, well, 8 campaigns, let's say I want to hit $500 in sales. Let me just wipe these out so that goes away. I want to hit $500 in sales for 7 campaigns. You see here, that will give me 1,400 points, and it'll bring down my goals for level 4 and level 5. So if I hit $500 in sales in 7 campaigns, then I'm down to just 3,600 points for the trip for 1 and 5,600 for the trip for 2. So let me give myself one campaign where I hit when I hit sales of 3 or above. Sometimes you have a bad campaign. It happens. Then I could say, okay, let's nix out the Alma recruits because I know some of you are not earning Alma, so we're just going to skip that for this portion. But if you are earning Alma recruits, you can kind of look at your conversion rate so far and see what your recruiting numbers are, how many recruits you get per campaign. You can look that up in Vibe. You could pull down you could basically run a report, and there is an option where you can find if your recruits are personal recruits or not, if you need to differentiate between your personal recruits and your own Alma recruits. And then you could kind of see, okay, am I recruiting 1 person per campaign, 2 per campaign, 10 per campaign, whatever it is, and you could kind of figure out your own number. So I'm just going to skip Alma right now. Then next option is personal recruits. So again, I have 8 campaigns. Let's say I say, all right, what if I do 2 additions per campaign? That would give me 16 personal recruits. Now, you'll see that if I hit that sales goal of 7 campaigns with 500 plus orders, 1 campaign with a 300 plus order, and I get 16 personal recruits, I've already earned the trip for 4. And I'm only 700 points away from earning the trip for 2. But our next category is additional orders. So these 16 people that I signed up, hopefully they'll each put in at least 1, other order. So we could say, okay, well, if I get 7 additional orders, there it is. I've made it. So your goal is to bring these numbers down. Your trip for 4 is going to be negative. because you're going above and beyond the trip for 1. So basically shoot for making your level 5 trip for 2 a 0, and that'll take care of everything that comes before it. So that's one of the reasons why I tell my teammates to aim for the highest, because if you aim for the highest, you'll get everything before it. If you aim just for the first one, it's gonna be like your mindset will not be set up for achieving the furthest. You're like the likelihood of you surprising yourself, you know, it's better if you're intentional about it. You know, we always talk in this training about our goals and your mindset and, you know, laying out a roadmap for yourself. This helps put things into perspective. So as you guys can see here, now you kind of have a roadmap for what your goals are. You can start planning now to get your 16 recruits, to hit your 7 campaigns of 500 plus orders. And you can actually, you know, if you do surprise yourself and have an early promotion or a personal promotion or a team promotion during the actual incentive time frame, then that's above and beyond. But I always say, you guys hear me tell my team and you guys all the time, if Avon gives you a number, if Avon says recruit 5, double it, just to kind of put yourself in the safe zone. Even if you miss your doubling, then, you know, it'll kind of come down to where you're still above the minimum. Try not to aim for the minimum, try to aim above and beyond. So you can see here, I kind of gave myself a grace period. 16 personal recruits, they all may or may not place orders, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. But that is my goal to begin with. So you guys see here that some of these numbers are populated. I'm just going to wipe these out down here. So as you see in this section back here, you have, well, this middle section, this area right here, kind of gives you the tally of all the points that you've earned. This one totals up those points and compares it to what you have left. I found that I would like to, like, if I said to myself, I need to have 16 appointments, I want to see if I have 8, how many I have left. Yes, I know it's half, but I just rather not do any kind of math. And then this column, the column S, will tell you how much you've achieved so far, and then column T tells you how much you needed. So this section right here, this red section, is sort of like your planning area, and then this column Q through T is sort of like your tracking section. So why don't we go ahead and do some tracking together? Let me just quickly hop over and see if you have questions. Jessica A says, I can screenshot and save to my camera. Oh yeah, that's a really great idea, Jess. So for those of you who are computer savvy like Jessica A, if you want to screenshot, once you've created your tracking list and you want to take a screenshot, you could save it to your phone and work from there. Great point, JA. Jessica Marwick, yes, this template is online. That's what I'm sharing with you guys. It's on my blog. So if you go to my website, bossladies.com, ignore my giant YouTube face. Click on bossladies.com, hover over the link that says join Avon. At the bottom is a link called Rep Resource Blog. That's where I post my videos, any, you know, little tips that I want to share publicly. The very first post here is called Incentive Tracking Like a Boss Intro. So this is an intro to helping you track like a boss. So if you scroll down, you'll see the link to the spreadsheet. And if you click the image, it'll also take you to the spreadsheet as well. So Jessica M, I've already shared. This is up and running. You guys can go there and find these instructions. And everything that I'm doing with you now is basically step by step, the instructions that I have listed on the website, the same exact way. Plus, this video will be live, so if you want me to go through it with you again, you can play this video at your speed. I know I talk fast. You could put it on half speed, play through, and I'll kind of walk you through again. So far, we set our goals. That was this yellow column here. Then we're going to track we talked about tracking our sales for every campaign. That was what I mentioned up here. If you want to put in, okay, in campaign 1, I sold at $310. In campaign 2, I sold $512. Campaign 3, I sold $600, et cetera, et cetera. And you guys can even see, as I said, this column tells you how much you've earned so far. You see the totals are coming in this section here, according to my sales. and then it's adding it up on the side and telling me how much I have left depending on the goals that I set. So I set a goal of hitting 7 campaigns of 500 plus sales, and according to this chart, I've hit 2 campaigns of 500 plus sales, so I have 5 campaigns of 500 plus sales left. I've achieved 400 points. I'm still short 1,000 points. So I kind of did this. I like to see everything like tick down to 0 as I get closer to hitting my goal. I like to see the numbers come down to 0, and I love to see that I'm getting closer and closer to my goal without having to calculate every 2 weeks. Okay, I got 5 more orders. How close am I? Do some quick math, figure it out. Okay, I got another recruit. How close am I? Do some quick math. It all just totals up here. I'm good. The next step is to, for those of you who are leaders, put in the number of times your teammates promote. We talked about that too. So if you do have someone on your team who moves title, you can put that personal promotion here. But let's take that as an example. Let's say, for example, you have a teammate who moves title. Right now, let's say you've started the incentive. Let's say now we're in campaign 23. We started the incentive, and this was the goals that we had laid out for ourselves. Let's say you get a surprise and in campaign 3, somebody promotes in title. You just put a 1 here and it will add that into your totals as well. Now I didn't plan for it, so it's telling me I have -1 because I didn't plan for it. But what I could do is I can go back to my plan. You can adjust your plan. This is not set in stone. You can go back in here and rework the numbers, which is another thing that I loved about it, because I found last year with the trip, I made my plan, I laid it out, I knew what I was going to do. And every single incentive, stuff changes. Either the people I thought were going to sign up and place their orders didn't, so I maybe had to move on to a second number or increase the number of people. So I found myself during the incentive playing around with the numbers, and that's why I tell you guys I don't like to do the math, because I don't want to have to come back and do the math on these numbers again. So what I can do though is with this chart, I could say, okay, well, I did get a surprise promotion, so let me put it in as if I did plan. And I see now I have an extra 500 points. All right, well, what does that mean? That means that maybe I could take down my personal recruits. So now I still have 200 extra points. And I could probably take down my requirement for additional orders. So you guys see how that adjusted? So as long as I keep this 0, I can fool around with all the numbers and it'll still tell me how much I need or how far away I am. So, you know, like, let's say I did get that team promotion. I don't have to kill myself out pushing past the 500 points. I mean, yes, I said shoot for the moon, definitely. But if I felt like I'm really tight, I could say, okay, look, I don't need 17. What did I have before? I don't need 17. I don't need 16 appointments now. I'll make it with 15. Great. A little stress off my shoulders. I don't need 7 additional orders now. I can make it with 5. Great. Even more stress off my shoulders. So you can adjust your plan here as you go. Everyone follow me? Awesome. Hey, Milagros. Thank you for joining us. All right. So lastly, is to start entering the names of your teammates as they join. So as I said, you're gonna go now and you're gonna go out, you're gonna sign up, say Jessica. I have a lot of Jessicas, so we're gonna go out and we're gonna find more Jessicas because they're awesome. And you sign up someone else who's Mary, and you appoint someone else who's Brian. So all of these are people that you've added to your team. What I like to do is I like to say, okay, well, Jessica placed an order of $150 in campaign 23. But guess what? For those of you who have your incentive tracker open, tell me what's wrong, why you didn't see that number happen, change in the box above. Can someone tell me? Oh no, I am wrong. Yes, this is different. There we go. Alma recruits. I was doing a training and I kind of changed things around. All right. So can someone tell me why this Alma recruit, Jessica, even though Jessica placed her order, is not showing up in my tracking chart? Thanks, Millie. Let me do some Q&A, guys. Does anybody know why this Alma recruit is not showing up, even though she placed the order of $150 or more in campaign 23? Does anybody know why? Sales don't count yet. Yes, the sales for Alma recruits do not count until campaign 1. So let's say Mary is an Alma recruit, and in campaign 1, she places a $150 order. Boom. So you see that add up and appear in her chart. But what about Brian? What if Brian places an order but doesn't place an order of the minimum 150? You put in Brian's order total. Brian, oof, just short of making it happen. Brian's number doesn't total up here in campaign 1. Why? Because Brian didn't hit the $150 goal. I also like colors because it makes things stand out to me. So, so Jessica could continue placing orders until she is golden. You know, Jessica is on a roll. Even though Jessica's continuing to place orders, she's not counting towards the incentive period. Now, one thing that I do need to check is if Jessica's additional order will count when campaign 1 starts. That is something that I do need to reach into, and I will update the spreadsheet. But for right now, Brian's order didn't hit 150, didn't show up here. Why are things all backwards? Because I changed things around for training and didn't change it back. Okay, so Brian's not showing up because his order was not over 150, but if his second order is over, then he will show up. Now, one thing I do want to just tell you guys that's not built into the system that you have to watch out for. If Brian's order is 150 and his second order is not if Brian's order is less than 150 and his second order is less than 150, Brian is no longer someone that you could track for this incentive because they're not a qualified new recruit. So my system here does not account for that, but what I'd like to just do is put a strike through them so that I don't continue now to track, because the system will, if I continue to put numbers in there, the system will take that and add it into your total. But Avon does not consider Brian a qualified new recruit. Sorry to pick on the one guy here, right? But Avon does not count Brian as a qualified new recruit. So once a representative's first and second campaign are less than 150, don't continue to track them. Just put a strike through their name so that you don't come back in and put in these numbers. Everyone following along? Yes, Brian does not count. Awesome, JM. So let's jump on down to our personal recruits. So I really should just make this whole chart hover. But let's jump on down to our personal recruits. I'm going to bring in another guy. Let's call him Todd. So Todd, turn off that strike through, and Jane and Betty are all personal recruits. I don't know why everyone has a strike through. I was angry, I guess. So let's say Todd now, as a personal recruit, comes in campaign 1, places a $500 order. Boom, he's green, and he counts because personal recruits count towards your incentive starting in campaign 23. But let's say Brian's other orders aren't doing so well. Brian goes on vacation and only has a couple of customers ordering online, right? Skips a campaign, has a sporadic bout. Because those orders aren't also over 150, they don't continue to count towards the incentive. So this sheet automatically figures that out and tracks it. But because his first order was 500, when Brian comes back from vacation and comes back with his really great orders, then they will be tallied back in and they will start to count. Is it showing up here? Why? Because, sorry, Brian, not Brian, Todd. So that should be adding up here. Not sure why it's not. He's a personal recruit. Oops, because this is column K. Okay. We will fix that now. Okay. So that is fixed. I know it's locked, and there it is. All right. So when Brian does come back, his order will count because he had that initial order that was over 150. All right. So that's basically how this spreadsheet works. So it is partially a planner. You start in the beginning, you make sure you know your goal and what you're aiming for. You set up your targets that you're going to be reaching for in each category. And then as you go throughout your journey, you work in your green sections here for your current sales, and in your blue sections, everything is coordinated, your blue sections to be entering your recruit's name. So now let me hop on over back to you guys. So, okay, really quickly, any questions so far? I'm back. How are we doing with questions, guys? That was a lot of info, right? What do you guys think? Do you think that this is a tool that will help you, or no questions? So do you guys feel like this is a tool that would help you? Do you have any questions about the incentive? Do you have any questions about how to use this sheet? I will be honest with you, that second part of the sheet, let me just jump back over. Type your questions. I'm going to come back. This part of the sheet, the recruit tracking, is actually something that I use when tracking with my teammates and helping them to reach their Kickstart goals, their incentive goals, because as a leader, I'm partnering with my team to help them reach their goals as well. So this kind of comes in handy for multiple reasons. For Kickstart, for incentives, and you can always change it around. This is sort of like a basic template. This is something I took from when we did the Cruise Like a Boss trip, and it's been modified so that it works for this incentive. Like I said, this year around, we have a couple of different things that are a little bit different, like this pre-incentive period, where the sales don't count. I should actually probably just pull off this color coding too, where the sales don't count in the first half, and the personal and team promotions don't count in the first half, but your Alma recruits do. We could probably make that a color. Oh, and you guys probably saw this pop up coming up. If you're looking at this sheet and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what boxes I can fill out and what boxes I can't fill out. I'm going to get in here. I'm going to make a mess. I'm not good with computers. Don't worry. I locked the boxes that you're not supposed to be writing in. So if you change something that you're not supposed to change, you'll get a warning. At that moment, all you have to do is say cancel. Don't continue to do what you're doing, and you won't mess anything up here. But this document is live, it's linked. So if you do get in there and you find something that you've completely screwed up, just go back in, get a fresh copy and start from scratch. So this is not something that I want you guys to feel intimidated about. This is something that I made because I want incentive tracking to be easier for you. I know how intimidating it can be to track for an incentive, and this is not really an easy incentive to track for because there are a lot of balls in the air. You're are you doing personal recruits versus Alma recruits? Are you tracking sales or not tracking sales? Which points apply for this campaign? This was sort of geared and made up to make it easier for me, 100%, but hopefully for you guys as well. I know that I'm the creator, so I kind of look at it with different eyes than you guys do, which is why I wanted to kind of walk you guys through it to see how I use it so that you guys can ask your questions. But one of the things that I wanted to show you was, let's just say this person places $500 orders. Jessica, of course it's a Jessica, being super on top of things. Let's say Jessica signs up places orders over $150 in every campaign, promotes title, and then also you also have a representative, Mary. Mary is also amazing. Mary does the same thing and moves, whoops, and also moves, comes in her first campaign. These are Alma recruits. That's not what I want. Sorry, Mary and Jessica. You guys don't count in these campaigns. Okay. So let's say Mary and Jessica come in, they're killing it, they hit all their sales goals, do above and beyond in every campaign. You have personal recruits, Todd, because we don't want to pick on the guys. Todd also knocks it out of the park in every single campaign. You can see here, you've made your goal. You're now above and beyond. So even if Todd missed, like I said, Todd was on vacation, even if Todd did miss a couple of campaigns, just knock out some of these orders. Because Todd is on vacation. You see, you're still good. You don't need, oh no, you do need. Todd, we need back one of those orders. 300. Okay, so you've made your trip. So you can play with the numbers to kind of see, like, you know, if you do have an amazing superstar who comes in, even if it's an Alma lead and places all their sales goals, let's say you have 2 of those and you've got a personal recruit who, even if they have a dry run, but they still hit all their personal sales, and you have people promoting in title and you hit your sales goals, even, you know, just for these 3 campaigns, you can make it. So for me, this chart really helped me to kind of step out and imagine different possibilities with different variables. You know, what if this, then that. It allowed me to play with the numbers so that I could be more flexible, because otherwise I would have my one piece of paper and I would just be thinking, like in the past when we had one thing to track, if it was, you know, for some of you were around a few years ago when we did the iPad incentive, and it was just like appoint and help 10 people to come into the company. And that was all you were tracking. I could do that on the back of a napkin in one sheet in my notebook, and it was easy peasy. As these incentives become a little bit more complicated, they become a lot more variables to track, and I found myself wanting to play with the numbers because I didn't want to rely on just one category when I had more categories at my disposal. Okay, great. So it looks like you guys are really, I'm not a genius, I'm a nerd. I love a spreadsheet, but thank you though. So like I said, this link is up on my website, so you can hop on over to bossladies.com, click on the link, you click on it and it opens the spreadsheet you guys can't see. I will show you how it works. So once you're at my website, just click on the link and it will open the option for you to open this spreadsheet. My spreadsheet, I said to you, you cannot mess it up because you cannot get into it, but you can make a copy. And we're not going to have a situation where you have to worry about someone else getting into that spreadsheet and plugging in their numbers and messing up your numbers. It's not a sheet that's shared in the sense that everyone is putting their numbers on there. It's a sheet that's shared in the sense that it's public so that you can make a copy. So once you click this link that says make a copy, it will become your own spreadsheet. Your numbers are your own. They're private. I can't see them. You don't have to worry about that. You can have one for yourself, one for your teammates. For my teammates, I would love if you guys would share yours with me so I could track with you to make sure that you're tracking your numbers properly. Again, we're not in the times where most of us can sit next to each other and compare notes, but we can do it virtually, which is, I think it's awesome. So just click the link, make a copy, make it your own. My website is up here. You can follow the link. This is the article you're looking for. And that is my Los Cabos tracking sheet. So once again, any questions for me? You're welcome, Millie. My pleasure. I've learned so much from you guys. I'm just glad to help. If I find another nerd out there who loves spreadsheets. All right, guys. So that's it for me. I hope that you guys find this helpful, and that this is a tool that you'll find useful as we jump into this incentive. Because, like I said, my goal is or my, not my goal, but my dream, I guess, would be for us to completely knock Avon out of the water, to completely surprise them and have them, you know, have more representatives than they expected, to have more of you guys who have never earned an incentive earn it. And I want to try to remove as many barriers to us as reps earning this incentive as possible. As I shared for myself, it is really scary because, yes, I am tracking as well. And I'm going to have to be sharing that with you guys. And there's always a little bit of nervousness like, will I make it? I hope I will. And we'll all be kind of going through that journey together, so that, you know, you guys don't feel alone. 100% transparency. You will get to experience all of my worries and anxieties in the same way. I am competing for this just as you guys are, but I'm thankful that we could compete without being against each other. We can compete and earn this together. Hashtag one team, one Avon. All right, guys, so that's it for tonight. Thank you guys all for joining me and bearing with me, and checking in. I should probably check on the Facebook stream because those questions I cannot see. But if you asked the question and I didn't reply, then, and you're on the Facebook page, I will come back to Facebook and I will go through the questions and I will answer for you guys. So thanks, guys. Thank you for joining. Have a great night, and I'll see you later.